I just have to, actually freeform's kind of better, to be honest, but I gotta stop sharing the whiteboard and open a freeform. For some reason, all my other people that have been coming do not, like most of them don't have Apple,
Oh,
which is
really?
weird. Yeah.
Like Apple's tends to
They
be
they
more
don't
popular than other brands, but
I know exactly. All right, is it calculus Ava? Is
yeah,
that it? Okay. And where'd you put them, upper left?
I put it like to the left.
Right
Took
there?
one big picture.
All those?
I can't see your screen.
Oh, why don't I share my screen? Yeah. That's the one advantage of the other method of using it is it automatically shares your screen. So
Yeah.
share screen. All right. Got me now? You
It's
see it now?
loading.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those. Yes.
Okay.
Those are the
Uh
ones that she said will like be on the quiz. So she said there's gonna be four inverse and then like four regular and
okay, so do
for
you have
those
what
types will be on the
do you have the formula for the inverse?
Yeah, I have all the formulas. Do you want me to put it on the
Yeah, put it on there because I don't have them memorized.
Yeah.
I can do number one while you're waiting for it.
Yeah, hold on. Give me a second. I can put all of
Okay.
the
Y
formula.
equals sine of cosine of 4x.
I can't see your screen again.
Oh no, so sorry. I accidentally tapped the button and it turned off my screen. All right, you got me?
Yes. Here,
Okay,
it's I'm putting the formulas in right now.
okay.
Should pop up in a second. Yeah, there it is.
All right, so this number one we can do without the formula because we know those formulas. So there's three different functions here, right? So you're gonna have to use the chain rule twice. So we take the derivative of the outermost function, right? Which is, so I'll just write y equals, or y prime equals. Can you see what I'm doing?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So y prime equals the derivative of the outermost function, which is the sine, right? So what's the derivative of sine?
Wait, I'm sorry. What question are we doing right now?
We're doing number one, but I'm doing it to the right. I rewrote it.
Okay.
You
Number
see it
one.
there?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So the derivative of sine, which is the outermost function, is the cosine, and then you leave the innermost function unchanged. So it's cosine of 4x. And then you multiply that by the derivative of the innermost function, which is the black one that I underlined. So
Okay.
what's the derivative of the cosine?
Um, Sine, negative sine.
Negative sine of, and then you leave the innermost function of that one unchanged. Got it?
Okay.
And
And
then
then
you
do you take
multiply
the
that by the derivative of the innermost function, the blue one, which is 4x. And what's the derivative of 4x?
four?
4. So rewriting this, put the negative and the 4 out front
The
and the
negative
sine.
from the sine.
Yeah, the negative there and the 4, those can both go together. And in fact,
Okay.
the sine of 4x can go out front as well.
Okay.
And then you multiply it by the cosine of 4x. So it's kind of like you want to put the simpler functions or the simpler factors out in the front is just usually the best way to write it.
Okay. And is
So
that
that
all
would
you
be
have to do?
yeah, I don't really know what else they would want you to do here.
That's how she's like, yeah, she doesn't make us
Sometimes you can do
think
more
about
to
it.
simplify it, but in this case I don't think you can.
Okay. Cool.
You don't have the answer key for it.
Hold on, it's somewhere in my phone. The answer is this is number one. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so for number 2, to take the derivative of this, you're going to just take the derivative of 2x, which is just 2, plus, and then the derivative of the tangent inverse. So the tangent inverse derivative is right there, and you see how they do in the chain rule. So it's 1 over 1 plus whatever u is, your inner function squared. So it's 1 over 1 plus 3x squared. You see what I did there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Times the derivative of 3x, which is 3. So cleaning that up, writing that would be 2 plus the 3 can just go on the top, 3 over 1 plus, and then you can write 9x squared if you want.
Okay.
And
Cool.
that's your answer. Okay.
So
Number
the
three.
wait, hold on a second.
Yep, go ahead.
The 3, so like, the denominator is 1 plus 9x squared. So
Yeah.
the 3 doesn't multiply to that 1.
The 3 is multiplying to this one up here because it's like 3 over 1.
No, I'm talking about the 3 in the denominator. I mean, the 1 in the denominator.
This one?
Yeah.
No, look at what the formula says down here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that 1 is just sitting in front.
Okay. Okay.
What were you wanting? What were you thinking it would multiply by?
I just thought it would just be 3 plus 9x squared.
No, because you're multiplying it by. See, you're multiplying the du dx. Whoops. You're multiplying du dx. This happens sometimes with this for some reason. Oh boy. This is the problem. Here, let me back out of this and go back into it, see if it cleans it up. We're finding out the joys of all the new technology since we don't have Jamboard anymore.
I know.
None of them are quite as good as Jamboard.
Why did they get rid of Jamboard?
I don't know. No idea. They didn't ask me, unfortunately, before they did. I should have asked. I would have told them.
They should have.
I know. So that's your du dx.
Okay.
So if that thing is 3, like is my case right here, that's like 3 over 1. So it doesn't multiply on the bottom.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay. So
Gotcha.
number 3 says y equals sine inverse of 4x squared. So that's your u, right? This is your u right here. 4x squared is your u. So all these things are written like with chain rule, assuming you're using the chain rule. So here, look at what your u is. See that? So the derivative is going to be equal to, I'm just following the rules. What does it say? 1 over the square root of 1 minus u squared. And what was u again?
4x squared.
So write 4x squared in there. And then times the derivative of u with respect to x. What's the derivative of 4x squared?
8x.
8x. And remember, it's over 1. So really, where's that going?
To the numerator.
It's going on the top. Yeah. So it's 8x over the square root of 1 minus, and you could square that if you want, or you can just leave it like it is. I prefer to square it. 16x to the 4.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay.
Okay. So that's your answer.
So in the denominator, because it's like 4x squared, so you just add the powers. You don't like.
Well, yeah. What's x squared squared? What does that mean?
4.
It means x squared times x squared, which is x to the 4. Yeah. Yeah.
So
you
what if it
multiply
was
those
like,
things.
okay, for example, if it was like 4x to the 3rd squared, would it be 5 or would it be 6?
4x cubed squared.
Yeah.
Then that would be 16x to the 6th, because x cubed times x cubed, how many x's are there in total if you were to write them all out? X cubed means there's 3 x's, right? And then this means there's 3 more. So how many are there total?
Oh no, I'm saying like x cubed to the 2nd.
Yeah, that's what I did. What's x cubed to the 2nd? That means x cubed time. What does to the 2nd power mean? What does
Twice,
x
like
cubed
you do it
squared mean? It means that there's 2 of them. And what does this 3 mean? It means there's 3 of them. And there's also 3 of them here. So how many are there in total?
6.
6. So what do you do with these? You add them. What do you do with these? You multiply them. Add those or you multiply those, raising power to a power.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Find the derivative of, this is number 4. I'm on the left side. 1 plus sine 3x to the 4th. So for this one, we're going to take the chain rule first. To take the derivative of the outermost function, which is something to the 4th power. And what's the derivative of something to the 4th power? It's 4 times that something to the 3rd power. So now leave that unchanged on the inside. Got it?
So you bring, wait, hold on. So you bring the 4 to the front
because that's
it's
the outer.
Because you have to take the derivative of the outside.
That's right. That's what the chain rule is. See how there's a function inside a function?
Yeah.
The outer function is use something to the 4th. The inner function is that thing that I just put a box around in green.
Okay.
So now I have to take the derivative of that thing in the box. What's the derivative of 1?
0.
It's just 0.
There's
Good.
nothing,
And what's the derivative? What's the derivative of sine 3x?
Cosine 3x?
It's cosine 3x times the derivative of 3x, which is what?
3.
3. So now let's clean this mess up, okay? So that equals, notice that I've got the 3.
Would the 3 multiplied by the 4?
Yeah, because see how this 3 isn't inside the cosine. It's kind of just out by itself. It's like this is here, those are all my factors. So I can take the 3 and the 4 and put them at the front. And in fact, you should put the cosine of 3x at the front too, because it's a little bit simpler. And then put the 1 plus sine of 3x cubed on the back of it. That's the way to write that and do that. Okay?
Okay.
Number 6 says y equals the sine inverse of 2 root x. So look for your sine inverse rule, which is right here, right next to it. So what's the derivative of that? It's 1 over the square root of 1 minus, what's my u now?
2 root x.
2 root x, so put it in there. Times, and what's the derivative of u, or 2 root x? It's 2 times
negative 1/2.
It's 2 times 1/2 times x to the negative 1/2. Right? I had to bring the 1/2 down, right, and subtract 1. See, I did that. So these 2's cancel, and that's the square root of x. That's like basically the square root of x on the bottom. So now let's clean all this up. Okay, so it's 1 is on the top, and on the bottom I have the square root of x, because that's what negative 1/2 power means, right? It's like 1 over the square root of x. You got that?
Yeah.
Times the square root of 1 minus. Now let's square that. What's 2 squared?
4.
4. And what's the square root of x squared?
The square root of x squared. X.
Is just x. That's right. So there's your answer.
Okay, wait. Can you go through like the second step again? Like when you take the derivative part?
Yeah.
Like, can you just like re-explain it again? I'm still confused with this one.
So what's the derivative of the square root of x? If my function, let's say g of x is the square root of x, that's like the same thing as x to the 1/2, right?
Yeah.
So what's the derivative of that? You bring the 1/2 down. And then you subtract 1. What's 1/2 minus 1?
Negative 1/2.
Good. Which is just like saying 1 over 2 times the square root of x.
Okay.
You get that?
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Okay.
And simplified things in the meantime.
Gotcha.
Okay. Number 5 says 3x squared cosine 5x. 3x squared cosine of 5x. think that's what it said, right? So let's take now this is a product rule, right? Do you see that we have this times this?
Yeah.
You see that? And then in here, we actually have a function inside a function. So we're going to have to use the chain rule there. So what's the derivative? What's the derivative of one of these functions? Well, you take the first one and multiply it by the derivative of the second. And what's the derivative of cosine?
Negative sign.
Negative sign, and leave the 5x in there, but then multiply it by 5 on the outside, right? Because that's the inside of it. Chain rule. Follow?
Yes.
Plus the second function, which is that, times the derivative of the first function. What's the derivative of 3x squared?
6x.
Perfect. Now let's clean it up. So that equals, take that 5 and that 3, because they're just, see how these are all just being multiplied together? So I can move them around. 5 times 3 is 15. 15x squared, sorry, negative 15x squared, bring that negative out there too, times the sine of 5x, plus, put the 6x in front of the cosine of 5x. It just looks better.
Okay.
And there's your
now,
answer.
why would I do that? Like,
it just looks better to put, remember, typically what you do is you put the simpler factors in front.
Could I just
like
do
if you had x to the 5th times
5x?
If you had x to the 5th times 6, what's the better way to write that?
With the 6 in the front.
Yeah, just 6x to the 5th, right? That's all I'm doing is cleaning it up a little bit. What was your question?
Could I just multiply 5x times 6x?
No, because that's what I was just going to say. This 5x is inside the function, the cosine function. You see that?
Okay.
That's the argument of the function. It's kind of like if I said you have the square root of x to the 5th times 3x. Can I multiply this 3x into here?
No.
No, because this is inside a function, right? It's the argument of a function. The argument of the cosine is the 5x. That's an angle measure. Okay. The 6x it's a number on the outside that's being multiplied by that.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that all of them, or did I have to go back to do number 1? I don't think I did 1 yet. So y equals cotangent. Y equals the cotangent inverse of x over 2. So I need to find the cotan inverse function. Cotan inverse is negative 1 over 1 plus u squared. So the derivative is negative 1 over 1 plus u, which is x over 2, right, squared, times the derivative. What's the derivative of x over 2?
1/2.
Good job. Times 1/2. Now the 2 gets multiplied only by the bottom, right?
Okay.
So that equals negative 1 over 2 plus squared over, would have been 4, right? Multiplying it by a 2. It would have been divided by 4, right? So one of these 2's is going to cancel with this 2.
Okay. So, okay, just over.
So that would be your answer. And then actually they may even write it in a simpler form. What you might see is they might then, do you remember how to simplify a fraction that has like a compound fraction? It's called clearing the fraction. So I'm going to multiply by 2 on the top and the bottom. So when I multiply by 2, I get negative 2 on the top, and on the bottom I get 4 plus, when I multiply here, the 2's cancel and I get x squared. So that's actually the best way to write it. It looks the simplest.
Okay.
I don't know if that's how your teacher wants you to write it, but it might be.
Fun. Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem. Check it out on online. You'll see the video.
Okay, thank you. Have a good one.
All right, have a good one. Good luck.